Good morning, Bitcoiners. Welcome to Citadel Summer episode number 58. Is it 58? No, it's 59. Episode number 59. We're getting along. This is Daniel from the Bitcoin Citadel. And today I'm here to remind you that winter is coming. And out here at the beautiful lake in the northeast of the United States, right up against the Canadian border where I live and where I've been making my videos for these last 59 days, right? The signs of winter are starting to come into this beautiful summer that I've been enjoying, sharing with you. The days are getting shorter. The leaves are starting to turn. It's getting colder at night. What does this say to us Bitcoiners who are paying attention? Well, the lesson we can learn is that we're still in Bitcoin summer. We haven't even hit the real bull market yet. That explosive blow off top is still in the future for us. I just, for the sake of entertainment value, have been saying to everyone who asks me, what will the top be this cycle? $444,000, right? And I can't remember the exact day that Josh Mann predicted that, but it's in this fall, right? And I've been saying that with a chuckle to myself, but that's the most entertaining outcome. And then therefore, by Elon's razor, wouldn't that be the most likely outcome? So we're still waiting for that surge for this cycle. Hasn't come yet. Everything's lining up. Hasn't come yet. But I think we would be fools to make public predictions that there is going to be no bear market in this cycle, that the great winter bear is not going to visit us. And I think this last week has been a preview of that, right? A foreshadowing of that. As we see, we saw an all-time high, last week, 124,000. And here we are today when I'm making this video, we're under 114,000. We're in the $113,000 range. And the genius of this cycle, Michael Saylor, right, is under attack. He launched a speculative attack against the fiat system, against the powers that be. And now he's reeling. I think MicroStrategy or strategy is going to survive this assault. They just got added to the S&P 500. The same guy, Josh Mann, who predicted the $444,000 top, snuck it out there that Saylor and Strategy are in the S&P 500. It just hasn't been announced yet, right? So maybe that's true. Yeah. Who knows? And yet, right before this, what would seem to be a golden age for MicroStrategy, for strategy stocks and all the instruments they've created around it, they're under assault, and the rats are starting to leave the ship here. If you follow this stuff on Bitcoin Twitter, the same pearl clutchers and warriors, right? The very vocal and anxious people, these people who can be stampeded very easily, are ready to write off Strategy and Saylor. I myself think that it's a little early for that. You might not want to panic sell your MicroStrategy stock yet, but what I do see from this is that, as I've predicted, and if you look back on, well, you guys don't have access to the Living in the Future community, maybe. Some of you do. Way back when, not just me, but people who observe have been saying that this Bitcoin treasury companies are the shit coins of this cycle, right? That's going to bring about the bear or encourage the bear. Remember, there's no intrinsic value in anything economically. It's just the value, the subjective value that people assign to things. We're Austrians here, my friend, as far as economics is concerned, right? And I'm rereading, I reread Cryptonomicon by Neil Stephenson. Bitcoiners have to read that. He's not right about everything, but it is entertaining and it's very educating. And now my wife got Quicksilver from the library for me. She saw me reading. She knows I'm a Neil Stephenson fan. She says, this guy hasn't reread those books in a while. I'll get him Quicksilver and he can reread it. And I did. And one of my favorite parts of it is that really is about the current economic system. That's one of the main themes of the whole Baroque cycle, Neil Stephenson's Baroque cycle. And one of the things is the development of natural, they call them natural philosophers, right? It's the development of science, right? And Isaac Newton is one of the main characters in the book, and one of the fictional characters that interacts a lot with Isaac Newton is Daniel Waterhouse, and the Waterhouses and the Shaftos, who are the two big fictional families that are, you know, the center of this story, right? Just like they were in Cryptonomicon, which is set in more modern times. This is set in the 17th and 18th, early 18th century. And one of the things that Daniel realizes is that money, he's trying to understand money, and he says to himself, money is a science, but it is a dark science. It's not the kind of thing that natural philosophers are used to studying and just understanding more and more of as they study and experiment and learn more and more about it. He says, economics, money is a dark science. And that's true. And Saylor's learning that now. You try to launch a speculative attack on the entire fiat system, and that's not a free ride, my friend. So he's you know, they got all hands on deck now. They're trying to weather the storm, and I think that, you know, the likelihood, the probability is very high that they will. They got so much freaking Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that plays out. I'm very interested. I have MicroStrategy stock in a tax-deferred account, right? So I'm interested. I got skin in the game. I don't got as much as Mikey, but I got skin in the game. And I'm not selling. So there it is. Now, so there's a sign of winter, of the winter bear. You know, it's a preview of coming attractions. It's a foreshadowing of the winter bear. And that's what's going to bring the bear market in my mind. Let's rewind the last time around. Everybody was working on the premium for the GBTC trade. That's what all these shitcoin companies, FTX and the like, they were all in on that, right? All the ones that are gone now, right? They were, as long as that premium was there, they were making money, right? But more and more folks saw that opportunity and piled in, and the ones that piled in late, right, weren't as bright as the ones that piled in early, right? And they started to get wrecked as soon as that premium turned into a discount, and the whole thing started to fall apart with the results that we've seen. The psychological engine turned, right? The mindset of people, the subjective value turned, and things came down, until all of that leverage and all of that, psychology was washed out of the system, and we hit a bottom around 16, and we've been going up more or less steadily since then. Now, this current blip down to, 113, 114, I think it's just that, a blip. If you watched Jack Mahler's Money Matters Mailbag Monday podcast, which I love that podcast. It's one of my favorites. On Monday, you know, he's super bullish and I'm super bullish and I'm optimistic. But I'm optimistic for people who acquire Bitcoin, right? And hold Bitcoin. That's what I'm bullish for. And, you know, that trade for acquiring Bitcoin for trash tokens, US dollars, that's still with us. You can still buy Bitcoin for fiat trash tokens. It's awesome, right? But unless you have a way of holding that in a self-sovereign manner to custody your own keys and keep those keys safe, you know, you will not be holding Bitcoin 4 years from now. You won't, because the wolves are at the door. They're going to try to get it by hook or crook. Sovereign nations, companies like BlackRock, companies like Strategy, and there's going to be some ways they do it. And one of the ways is going to be to raise the price up in the next big blow off top and get you to sell. And some people, I already see people, oh, I'm going to sell at the top and I'm going to buy later on. I'm going to wait for it to come down. Yeah, good luck with that. You're so smart. You can do that, right? I'm not selling anything, right? Unless I have to. You know, I sell a little bit all the time because I live on a Bitcoin standard. But keep your Bitcoin safe. Hold it. Now might not be the time to take a loan against your Bitcoin. Now might not be that time because the drawdown is coming. I think it's going to come next year, right? So maybe now's not the time to take that Bitcoin mortgage out. Maybe now's not the time to borrow against a lot of your Bitcoin. Sure, I'm actually considering playing around with borrowing against a small amount of it just to see how it works. Because I want to be like one of those rich, aristocratic British people and Jane Austen who knows how to use the buy, borrow, die, you know, model. I like Mark Moss. I think it sounds like a great idea, but I'm going to make sure I don't have too much exposure, right? And I don't have the kind of Bitcoin that will allow for, you know, me to be a Bitcoin zillionaire anyway. But I think this asset, especially for folks like us who don't have that much, we're not Michael Saylors, we're not OG Bitcoiners. We've, you know, we were smart enough maybe to get a little bit of Bitcoin before the prices really run up, and they haven't run up yet. You know, that's going, I agree with Raj. I think Bitcoin there's no top on Bitcoin because there's no bottom on fiat, right? So my advice to you is don't think that there will not be a bear. The winter bear is coming, right? So now is the time before the big push, because there is a big push coming too. Prepare for the bear, right? Get your mindset together. Get your mindset together. Know that you're holding long term. Know that these, you know, Bitcoin treasury companies and all the instruments that they're offering are the shit coins that are going to wreck, that are going to usher the bear back in. Understand that and position yourself accordingly. That's what I'm saying. That's my prediction. Public prediction. That's how we can test our worldviews, and that's my public prediction. And a lot of other people are saying the same thing. You know, not the influencers on Bitcoin X, but a lot of folks that I follow anyway. We're optimistic, but we're also preparing for the winter. We're stacking our firewood up. We're making sure that, you know, the windows are secure and the heater's working in the house, right? All that stuff. Anyway, it's an awesome sunrise this morning. I think I caught the very, very end of the really pretty part of it. And I'm going to post that on X. I like to post, if it's a nice sunrise, I post it on X in the morning. So if you want to see it, go over to my X channel. It is Citadel Daniel over there, just like it is on YouTube. If you like my content on the YouTubes, make sure to like it and subscribe to it. And I love me some comments. So if you want to leave a comment, that's awesome. You know who you are. You know the people. You watch my videos. All a couple dozen of you, right? Citadel summer is coming to an end. Last 2 weeks of videos. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a bit of a grind getting up here and making a video every morning. I'm not going to lie about that. So it's been awesome, though. It's been fun. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.